we doing today? Welcome back to False Opinions, episode 3. And yeah. Today we are going to be talking about a few different things. And the first thing I said the last time, we're going to talk about Stan Lee, right? So if you didn't know, Stan Lee passed away about a week ago, right? I think like a week ago, two weeks ago, something like that. He's 95, and everyone has been showing their support and love and all that, as they're expected to be. I mean, he did a lot for pop culture, and with the Marvel company, creating all the studios, how many jobs he created just from existing, basically. And now we know him all. Now we, the masses know him from his cameos in the MCU, in the MCU movies. And so yeah, I have, I've liked, comic book characters, specifically Marvel, ever since I was a kid. So I thought that, it would be kind of cool to go through all of Stan Lee's cameos that he's been in so far. So before Captain Marvel, because Captain Marvel's the next one, hasn't happened yet. And yeah, because I also love the MCU movies. I know there's a lot of people out there that do as well. And I just thought it'd just be kind of cool to kind of go through and look at all of his cameos, try to see, all the different things that he's done, all the different weird, but kind of cool moments that, if you're an MCU fan, that's what you're always looking for, to see what his next cameo is going to be. And yeah, I would also love to see what you guys think your favorite cameos are, or not think, I guess you would know what your favorite cameos are. Yeah, so let's start it. I have not seen this video before, so I hope it's good, and I hope it includes all of them, which I don't know why it wouldn't, but yeah.
It is such fun creating characters, writing stories, even doing interviews, even though I can't hear most of what the guy says to me. And when you do something that the fans seem to enjoy, that gives you such satisfaction, you don't want to stop.
Answer the question! You must answer the question!
That's what he was in Hulk.
Excuse me, I'm looking for some guy named Stan Lee.
What? Spider-Man?
That's pretty cool.
Close for a while. I think I finally got crazy. I've always wanted to experience real web slinging.
And I've always wanted to be appreciated as a real hero.
He's like, I created you.
You looking at that couple inside?
Actually, I was just looking at this little pink number over here.
Oh yeah, that's kind of nice.
Oh, that's
Look,
okay.
It reminds me of an issue of Spider-Man I did when Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy went lingerie shopping. Of course, the Green Goblin showed up, and he pumpkin bombed the hell out of the place.
This guy's like, what are you talking about?
Same thing. Oh my god. Holy shit! Aren't you?
Oh, Stanley.
That's pretty funny. Oh, I remember this one. Yeah, he's the dude with the TV. He has no lines in this one. Never seen Daredevil.
Good morning, Dr. Krensler. Security ought to be beefed up a lot more in a place like...
Ooh, Stan Lee being the real hero.
Back to the Baxter, Dr. Richards. I've got the usual for you. Good to have you back, sir. Thanks,
Oh, I don't remember him in this movie. Oh, I do. He wasn't in Spider-Man 2?
You know, I guess one person can make a difference. Enough said.
Interesting. Oh, I remember this. This is funny.
Stanley?
Yeah, nice try.
No, no, really.
He's like, yeah, right. That's not you.
Remember me?
Sure don't.
Psh, wow.
The great half.
He's mistaken for Hugh Hefner.
Milwaukee. Man drank one of those Guarana sodas. Guess it had a little more kick than he was looking for.
Wow. Oh no, glass everywhere.
Hey, the Oracle of Oracle. What a pleasure. Nice to see you. Larry!
Wait. Oh yeah, I remember this too. Fucking wrecked. You're gonna destroy your truck, my dude. Nope, it most certainly did not.
Captain, that's your cue.
I thought he'd be taller.
This is a great one. This is probably his longest cameo in terms of like screen time.
Superheroes in New York?
I remember that too, yeah.
Are your pulses pounding? Can you feel its eyes upon you? The dweller in the dark is watching.
Relax, Harry. It's just Stan.
It's just Stan Lee. Oh, I don't remember that one. That was cool.
Simple. Any questions?
Took Stan Lee's shoe.
Was your love to be with you on our two-story Victorian home in the Cotswolds. But could you even give her a moment? What with your banking job requiring you to travel to the States from Tuesday to Saturday every other week? No!
From Tuesday to Saturday?
About your loss, dear. As for you, now is your chance to do better. Why don't you see that you take it?
Damn. Stan Lee giving you sass.
Wear that? No. You're gonna fight a war, you gotta wear a uniform.
Oh, is he the security guard? That's cool.
Oh, man. I am so fired.
How'd you let someone take the OG Captain America suit, you know?
Look at Mr. Smiles over here. Where's your wife, old man?
Fred.
Oh, dude, he was in Big Hero 6. I remember that. I love that movie, but I don't remember him.
Son.
Son.
Dad. I wear 'em front. I wear 'em back. I go inside out. Then I go front and back.
Dad!
That's wild.
Alexis Ortiz.
Yep, you should probably.
I know that guy.
No, no, no. This was aged for 1,000 years. The barrels built from the wreck of the London's fleet is not meant for mortal men.
Neither was Omaha Beach, Blondie. Stop trying to.
Blondie.
All right.
Then he gets destroyed by it, right? Oh, he did. He has said Excelsior.
Could I borrow the sports section? Thank you.
Fine, right? The bartender's all like, yeah, crazy stupid fine.
Right now. Give it up for Chastity.
That's a great cameo. Him being like a DJ at a club.
Are you Tony Stank?
Yes, this is Tony Stank.
That's probably his dumbest one. Him, Tony Stank. Oh no.
That is hilarious.
What is he reading?
Wow, nice suit. Zip it, Stanley.
That's funny because he breaks the fourth wall.
Anyway, before I was so rudely interrupted, at that time, I was a Federal Express man. Hey, fellas. Hey, wait, where are you going? Hey, you were supposed to be my lift home. How will I get out of here? Hey, gee, I've got so many more stories to tell. Oh, God.
He said, I created you. You can't walk away from me.
They're the greatest stories ever told. Heroes show us we don't need to be perfect to do what's right. It's not about living without fear, but facing injustice. It's not about being powerful, but finding your calling when you least expect it. They show us it's okay to be vulnerable, no matter how tough you are. Because even though they're heroes, they're still human. Don't make me come down there, you punk.
This is a great one.
How are you? How's your mother?
Him yelling at Spider-Man and just going on with a conversation. This one might be my favorite one.
My hands aren't as steady as they used to be.
By Odin's beard, you shall not cut my hair, lest you feel the wrath of the mighty Thor. Please, kind sir, do not cut my hair.
Please, kind sir.
Claw is leaving Outlander with me. You've been warned. Then you won.
You know what? I think I'll just take these, bring them over here, and hold on for safety.
That was awesome.
Okay, heads up. The king of Wakanda is here. Cannot
He
leave
just
Claw.
he just took his winnings. He was the bus driver, right, in this? Smacked him in the face.
Distraction. Holy shit. We're all gonna die. There's a spaceship.
What's the matter with you kids? You never seen a spaceship before?
See ya.
Fights, it's all you.
What was he in this? Like I feel like I just watched this. I think I'd like just watch this over the summer. Oh yeah.
Well, the 60s were fun, but now I'm paying for it.
together again. You always
I love that his cameos transcend movies, where he's a cameo in a video game. That's awesome. I didn't see Venom.
don't give up on her. Either of you.
Who's that guy? Wait, this thing looks delicious.
Ah, okay, that was it. Is there any more? Some more to this video? I don't care. So yeah, that was that. And oops. And yeah, so that, not really a whole lot to talk about. I just wanted to go through all of his cameos, because his cameos are great. He's like perfected the cameo in my opinion, where it's just like, there's a lot. Most of them are just like a few seconds, but it's just like funny, and like now it's something that people who are fans of the MCU like look forward to every movie. They're like, oh no, what's Stan Lee gonna be this time, and now that now that he's gone, apparently, he's filmed a bunch of cameos for upcoming movies. I'm pretty sure he's filmed Captain Marvel and Avengers 4. But past that, I have no idea what he's filmed for, because he's Stan Lee, so like he could know all the he could be in on like the next 20 years of the MCU for all we know, so like maybe, him getting older, they kind of pre-planned, and they just kind of, made him record just like a bunch of different shit for just like possible cameos, but yeah, I just wanted to have a little bit of a section of this episode to just dedicate it to him. His field is very, it started out very niche, with comic books and everything, and comic books were really never cool. They were never really a thing that the masses really picked up on. It's just in recent years with them, being in more and more media, whether it be movies or video games or TV shows, he's really seeing, that kind of stuff like soar to what it, to its, towards its full potential in terms of reach and, critical and commercial acclaim with whatever it is. So, all kinds of other mediums, except comic books, especially Stan Lee, I love rap music, and there's so many different rappers, like rap has accepted comic books, specifically, Stan Lee and like Marvel and stuff like that into its world. So like, it's just great the way he's, crossed over into different mediums so easily and so comfortably. Yeah, so that's really all I wanted to say. I just wanted to show that, and show some love to Stan Lee, because there's a big part of, there's definitely a sizable chunk of my life and my personal interests that are probably due to him, as well as others, but him being a pretty big part in that. So also, I came across I think it was on Reddit, and I think the first time it was posted was like a year ago, but then someone brought it back up because he's actually passed away, and someone said something really funny where they said that now that Stan Lee won't be able to do any more cameos, which realistically they've probably recorded a bunch, and then also realistically they could probably just CGI it. They've done it with other stuff, and I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if Marvel CGI's Stan Lee cameos from now on, kind of keeping his legacy alive through his movies and everything like that. It wouldn't be as hard as, other CGI characters that we've seen in other blockbuster movies, because they only have to CGI like a few seconds of him into the movie. Whereas, there's been other movies that they've done CGI characters, and CGI characters that are supposed to look like real humans, not like CGI monster, CGI alien, like something that's actually supposed to look and feel like a real human. And they've had like a much more sizable chunk of screen time, and I think that that's what kind of gives it away and makes it feel not realistic, because it's like once you have a CGI character like that that's on screen for minutes and then tens of minutes and then tens and tens of minutes, it's just like you can start seeing like the kind of weird like behaviors and stuff like that character's doing, that makes it so it's not quite human, you know what I mean? Especially with humans being so imperfect, like it's just like different movements, or like different like just like different like facial twitches, or whatever it is. But with Stan Lee, it'd probably be way more feasible. But I heard this theory on, I think it was Reddit, and I'm all for it. I think it'd be great. They said that the only one who knows that Stan Lee is dead in the Marvel movies is Deadpool, because Deadpool obviously breaks the fourth wall. If you don't know who Deadpool is or how Deadpool works, he's a character, and one of his biggest things, he's known for being immortal, so like you can chop his arm off and he's fine, and you can, stab him in the heart and he'll, whatever, right? He has like regenerative abilities, similar to Wolverine, and like he has his sword and his guns, and then he's but the thing he's most known for is being he breaks the fourth wall, which means that he talks to the audience. In comic books, he would literally talk to the reader about what's going on in the comic book, you know what I mean? So they said theoretically the only one who knows that Stan Lee, the actual human Stan Lee, not the cameo bus driver or the mailman or whatever, Stan Lee is dead, would be Deadpool. So they said that it'd be kind of funny if from now on, after they kind of run out of cameos that Stan Lee has actually recorded before he died, it'd be kind of funny if they made Deadpool do the cameos, but like in a really Deadpool way, where like Deadpool will show up in, I don't know, like another Spider-Man movie or Black Panther movie or whatever it is that's down the line, and Deadpool's in there in his Deadpool costume, but then he also has like a fake mustache and like the aviators, and like he has like a wig that's like the like grayed hair, and then he does like a really bad Stan Lee impression, and like I read that, I thought that would be really funny, because that'd be something that Deadpool would do. It's something that he can do, because again he's like omniscient. Well, not omniscient, I guess, but he's self-aware, fourth wall and everything like that. But it's something that he could do, and it's something in his style where like he's kind of funny, kind of making fun of stuff. But I mean, you can just tell that by his cameo in the Deadpool 2 trailer, I think that was that we just saw, where he comes out of the phone booth and Stan Lee is like, "Hey, nice suit," and then Deadpool was like, "Hey, shut up, Stan Lee," or something like that. It's just like a funny thing, like he knows who Stan Lee is, but isn't that really funny? So yeah. So let me know what you think they should do after they run out of Stan Lee recorded stuff. If they think they should do CGI, if they think the Deadpool thing would be kind of funny, or if you just think cameo should stop. I mean, let's not drag it out. Let's not, maybe one of those people, which, it's very viable, Same thing that people were saying when Paul Walker died, they, they've already, when Paul Walker died, they already recorded, I keep saying recorded. It's not filmed, I should say, not recorded, filmed. When Paul Walker died, they already filmed, 90% of the movie, I think. And, they, used his siblings, and then his brothers, and then they CGI'd his face and everything for the last 10%. But then there's people who are like, oh, what if they keep Paul Walker alive in the movies? They just keep CGIing him, and it's like, well, no, maybe we should just end it there, end it to where it should be, everything like that. Which it definitely did end in a way that, with the whole him having a family and the whole him wanting family to be safe and everything, so. Anyway, so just let me know what you think. Also let me know what your favorite Stan Lee cameo is, because mine was probably the Thor Ragnarok one, probably, because there's also this theory, and I don't want to, drone on too long about this, but there's also this theory that Stan Lee is the most powerful, or one of the most powerful characters in the entire MCU. And that's because, if you go in that scene, Stan Lee is cutting Thor's hair, and he does cut it because then we see Thor again, and he has the really short hair. He has like the scars in his head from Stan Lee, messing up a little bit because he said, what did he say? He either said like his eyes aren't as good as they used to be, or his hands aren't as good as they used to be, something like that, right? And what makes that so crazy that Stan Lee cut his hair was that we fast forward to Infinity War, where spoilers for Infinity War, I guess. I mean, it's been like what, since May, so it's been like 6 months. Thor has to hold open the gates to the star, so that the star waves can shoot onto the into the other room that's attached to the star, so that freaking Peter Dinklage can it is Peter Dinklage, right? I'm not fucking up. Yeah, it is Peter Dinklage. I was thinking of someone else. Yeah, so that Peter Dinklage can use that heat from the star to melt the whatever to then make Thor's new axe or whatever. And so in that scene, Thor is actually holding open the doors, and the force of the star, the raw energy, force, heat, fucking whatever word is correct, because I'm not a scientist, is actually blasting through him. He's literally getting hit with the force of a star, the force energy, whatever, of a star. And in that scene, his hair doesn't burn off. So people are making the connection that a star, the raw power of a star was not enough to singe Thor's hair, and somehow Stan Lee was able to cut it. So they're saying that Stan Lee is the most powerful. His scissor machine is the most powerful weapon in all of the MCU. I don't actually think that. I don't think that's that's canon or whatever. But it's just another one of those funny little theories that well, I mean, yeah, I guess it's funny, and Stan Lee being the most powerful person in the MCU is just a really playful thing to kind of throw around and be well, if you look at this and this, it doesn't not make sense, so yeah. So yeah, let me know what your favorite cameo is, because there's a lot of good ones, and I'm excited to see what the Captain Marvel one, and especially excited to see what the Avengers 4 one is, because that one has to be good, especially with him not here anymore, so yeah, next topic 2 out of 3, we're gonna talk about Sony has decided to skip this year's E3. Well, not this year's, it's technically next year's, but this next upcoming E3. Yeah, and the reason this is interesting is because this is a Kotaku article. So, the reason this is interesting is because apparently Sony has never missed, since Sony was a thing and they did PlayStation and all that stuff. They have never missed an E3. They've never skipped one, I should say. Not really missed. Missed would imply that they tried to do it, but then they were busy, so they missed it. It's oh no, I missed it. They're choosing to skip E3, which is crazy because again they've never done that before. So people are saying that it has to do with PS5, because the PlayStation 5 is, there's rumors about that, and people are really on board that PS5, there's going to be some kind of news about it this year. For me, if they do talk about PS5 at all this year, obviously not at E3, but some other way, it's just going to be an announcement that, hey, PS5 is a real thing, we're working on it. I don't think they're going to reveal any hardware, any nothing. You know what I mean? At most, to me, it'll probably just be hey, guess what? PS5 is a thing, we are working on it, just to let you know. Similar, I kind of put that to The Last of Us Part 2, where people are saying that, oh no, it sucks because the Last of Us Part 2 got announced 2017 or 2018 or whatever it was. I don't remember exactly what it was. They're like, why is it not out yet? I thought it was supposed to be out this year. And personally, ever since there was rumors that they were making a second one all that time ago in like 2016ish, I think rumors started floating around that they might be working on a sequel to Last of Us. And Last of Us, for me, if you didn't know, one of my favorite games of all time. Probably top 10 favorite game of all time, I would say. So when there's rumors about that, I kind of knew how Naughty Dog worked, and I know that they take a while to make games because the kind of games they make. And so I knew, like, when it got announced, or not announced, when there was rumors about it, I knew that this game isn't coming out till like 2020, like maybe 2019, sorry, I guess it was coming out 2019. I said maybe 2018, but probably 2019, because at the time it was like 2016 when there was rumors about it, and like there wasn't any other thing about it that was like, hey, so like in my mind, a few years is how long it takes for them to make those kind of games. It's not like it's they don't take a year to make a game, because it's very cinematic, it's very, the graphics, the movement, all that stuff. So now going back to PS5, it's just one of those things that, like, I don't know if we need a PS5 right now. I mean, I don't have any plans on playing it, but Red Dead Redemption 2 just came out, and people are saying it looks beautiful. It's like the best looking game they've ever seen. Up until this point, this is the best looking game we've ever seen. Like the most realistic, the most cinematic, the most whatever, right? And so people are looking at that and they're like, do we need a new console if there's still games coming out that are looking better and better? Because usually people start craving a new console when there's games coming out from the top dogs, and they're not really looking better. Like they obviously look amazing, but they're not looking better. So that then leads to, okay, if we're not getting games that are looking better than the previous ones, then buy the top dogs, buy the developer studios, whatever, that make the best games, such as a Rockstar or a Bethesda or EA, Ubisoft, Naughty Dog. I'm trying to think of a bunch of them. Then it must be because the hardware, we have now reached the peak of this hardware's capabilities. But Red Dead Redemption 2 just came out, and it apparently looks better than everything. So do we still need a next gen if we are still able to make a better looking game? Now I know it's Rockstar, and I know, they have more money than anyone. I mean, what was it? GTA 5 is now like the most profitable media, piece of media that's ever been. Like, it's made like billions of dollars or something like that, something ridiculous. But like still, like, and like me, who I got a PS4, I think when did I get a PS4? I got a PS4 right around when like Watch Dogs came out. When did Watch Dogs come out? Watch Dogs game. They gotta make a Watch Dogs 3. I really liked Watch Dogs 1 and 2. Oh, I thought I said it came out 2009. 5 years for this game? Alright, Watch Dogs wasn't that good. 2014. So I probably got one around probably like the end of 2014, I would say. Probably. Right? Probably the end of 2014? I could be completely wrong. It had to be the end of 2014. Maybe like 2015 at the latest, right? So like I've had my console for like 3, almost 4-ish years. And like I'm not really craving a new one, I mean, it'd also be kind of insane for them to put out a new one, because the PlayStation May 20, for this one in November. So yeah, it came out later for that. So I might have gotten it in 2015 maybe. Anyway, that's not the important part. Because this new generation came out in 2013. So like 2020 be 7 years. I guess that's kind of on track. But I thought that like both of them said that they wanted this generation to be a 10-year generation. Yeah, it's just weird to me. Trying to put out a PS5 now. You know, I mean, I don't know. Some of the things that I don't really think I need a new PlayStation. You know, I think this one's good. I mean, it still runs well. Like, I don't know, people, especially about PlayStations, people are always complaining that like they're super loud, or like they're slow, or they're like freezing, or like, you know, and like I've had mine again for a while, and I've never cleaned it. I've never like opened it up. You know, I've always been too afraid to, because like I don't want to like fuck anything up. But like I've never opened it up and cleaned it. I've never, you know, it still runs fine. You know, people complain about controllers too, but I've had the same controller, you know, that I started with when I bought it. You know, I've actually been thinking about buying a new one, you know, just because there's like some really cool controllers out there. Like there's like the cool like clear ones, and like anyway. But yeah, like, you know, people are complaining about like the controllers, like, oh, my stick doesn't work, or my D-pad doesn't work, or this trigger is fucked up. And I'm like, all my buttons and triggers, sticks, they work fine. Like, I don't have any problem. So I don't know what you guys are doing to your hardware. You guys gotta take better care of your shit. But yeah, like, I don't know. Let's read some of this article. As industry evolves, I just want to innovate, not to participate in this one, engage in our community. Okay, so yeah, that's what people are saying, is that they think that maybe even starting this year, they're not going to go to E3 anymore. Because Nintendo was a very early adopter of not really fucking with the like big conferences like that, and like they started doing Nintendo Directs, and it's literally a way for them to just release a video on YouTube, you know, on their own time with their own audience, not have to do this big to do, and just be like, here's some cool stuff we're doing, you know. And also with this, they can do it as often as they want. You know, they don't have to wait for a conference. They don't have to make sure they have enough that they haven't talked about yet to have a successful conference. You know, they can just be like, yeah, we're putting out, there's a new system, here you go. There's a new, you know, working on this new game, here you go. You know what I mean? Which I think is really smart. So people are theorizing that PlayStation or Sony is going to start doing this, where they're going to have their own thing, and you know, they already have PSX, which is their own kind of conference. So now I think people are assuming that now that they have their own conference, them not going to E3 might be them saying, now we're going to do a Nintendo Direct type thing, where we just start making videos. You know, we just put out an hour-long video of like, here's all our stuff. You know, I mean, they would have to do that, right? With Xbox, you know, Microsoft at E3, Nintendo will probably be at E3, because like they do usually go to E3s, but like they don't usually like have a whole lot of time, you know. It's usually just them going in, talking about some stuff, and leaving, you know. Whereas Microsoft and Sony have always had super long, like, you know, E3s. Microsoft especially, I think Microsoft usually has the longest one, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, because if you're going on here, I'm pretty sure it'll probably talk about, this is yet blow to another Los Angeles trade show, which has seen multiple publishers drop a few launch. Now holds its own event in Hollywood, LA Live, pre-recorded videos, which is again what I think Sony's gonna do. They're just gonna start putting out videos. I mean, why not? Or maybe they will have their own conference, and they'll have two every year. They'll have like their PSX, which usually is in like December, like November, December, right? And then they'll have their other one in like May or June, which is a pretty good split. I mean, it's like halfway, you know what I mean? You know, because June is like the 6th month and December's the 12th, so it's literally halfway, so they can get a lot of information out. Occupies, yeah, they do usually occupy a lot. Yep. Yeah, and it's also very interesting because, again, they're talking about here, the move makes sense for Sony, as the company's 20th anniversary would presumably revolve around 3 of the 4 main games showcased last year: Death Stranding, Last of Us, and Ghost of Tsushima. And none of us know when those games are coming out. What's another one? Oh yeah, Days Gone, right? That was their other one that's supposed to come out next year. Or later? Yeah, that's probably true. So yeah, when it comes to these games, because there's this, and there's this. 3 big topics right here. So the first I'll talk about is these games, right? Yeah, we don't know when these games are coming out. Death Stranding is okay. So hold on. Okay, hold on. I keep starting something and then I keep wanting to go back. The 4th game that I think they're alluding to is Days Gone, which has already gotten delayed, which people have like need to stop like freaking out when a game gets delayed. I love it when games get delayed. Now, when a game gets delayed 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, like a lot, then that's cause for concern. But I'm fine when games get delayed because that means that the person, well, not the person, but like the studio or whoever's making it knows, hey, this game isn't ready. Let's push it back a few months and then it'll be ready. I mean, Naughty Dog almost always pushes their game back. And look at them, they, put out 10s, and, whether or not you think, those games deserve 10s that Naughty Dog puts out is, a matter of opinion, but, I'm not ever, because, like, to me, it's either push your game back and, upset some fans, because, they've been waiting for the game to come out now, and, they have to wait another month or 2 or 3, and they're like, oh, that, that sucks. And then have it come out and then have to be ready and then be like, oh, this game's good. I'm not mad at it coming out later anymore. Because the other option is you put it out now when it's not ready, when it's buggy, when it's, stuff like that. And then people are going to hate it and they'll be like, oh my God, I can't, but then they'll come back and be like, well, if we pushed it back, you'd be mad at us too. So what do you want? So I'm never mad when a game gets delayed. Even when a game gets delayed a second time, I'm usually not mad. Once it starts getting delayed like 3 times plus, that's when I'm like, all right, is this game actually coming out? So with Days Gone, that game looks really cool. It definitely looks like a game that I would like. I'm not a huge zombie game fan, but I do like the whole like survival aspect of it. The whole like, it seems like you go from camp to camp. It seems like there's like an open world, like 3D open world, maybe some kind of crafting thing, stealth type, so that game looks really cool. Up here, Ghost of Tsushima looks really, really cool. I love the whole like, pretty sure it's like a samurai ninja type game, which looks really, really cool. I'm all about that. It's also made by the guys over at Sucker Punch, right? Love Sucker Punch. To me, they're most known for Sly Cooper, which I love the Sly Cooper games. Some of my favorite games on the PS2. And then they're known for Infamous. Again, love Infamous. I played Second Son, and it was, I liked it. Even though people say Second Son is probably the worst Infamous, I still liked the worst one in that franchise. So so I was super excited for that when that got announced, and then the freaking Sucker Punch logo came up. I was like, oh my God. Next, Death Stranding. That's a game I'm not quite sure about. It looks really, really cool. I'm into like the weirdness of it. I love Norman Reedus. I'm a Walking Dead fan. If you didn't know from the last topic that's going to be coming in this episode. Love Norman Reedus. I love that he's a part of it. It's one of those things where like I don't know if I like it yet or not because we haven't seen gameplay. Like the most gameplay we've seen is just Norman walking around, which I don't really know if that's my kind of game. You know what I mean? Like I want there to be some action, some kind of combat, some like something. It can't just be me walking around, delivering stuff, sneaking around and delivering stuff. I can't do it. You know what I mean? Like I can't. I want to like this game, but I'm gonna need to see some gameplay first, my dude. And that's another game that like when it got announced, people were so excited for it, and the people who understood how games work, they were like, this game isn't coming out for years. Like, he's just showing it to us to let us know that he's working on a game. That's all it is. It's the same thing with The Last of Us 2, which is a game that I am very hyped for, and I'm going to buy it no matter what, because, again, I love Last of Us. And, it's a game that got announced a while ago. Not really that long ago. I think people are, I love the approach of, hey, we're at E3, there's this game coming out, and guess what? It comes out in 3 months. Like, that's awesome. But, like, I also don't mind the approach of talking about a game that doesn't come out for 3 years and just being like, hey, just so you know, we're working on this game. Leave it in the back of your mind, because this game has come out for a few years, but just know that we're working on it, and it's gonna be dope. And that's kind of what they did with Last of Us 2, where there was rumors and rumors and rumors over what their next game would be over after Uncharted, and people were like, it's gotta be Last of Us 2. I'm all for it after this game, because I don't think they're gonna continue the Uncharted series. They kind of made Uncharted 4 the finale. They did leave it in a way that was very smart of them, to, if they want to do an Uncharted 5, or like maybe call it something else, not Uncharted, they could make it so their kid, Nate and the girl's kid could be the next protagonist, because she, her being the daughter of those two, she obviously has a huge interest in, like, the world and traveling and history and all that stuff, adventuring almost. Yeah, people were like, oh, it's gotta be Last of Us 2, because I'm all for them making a new IP, especially since we know Last of Us 2 is coming out. After that, I'm not mad at The Last of Us 3. I wasn't sure if I wanted a sequel at first, but now I'm seeing the sequel with the trailers and stuff, and it looks really, really cool. And I'm not mad if they want to do like they've done before with Jack and Daxter, and they've done with Uncharted, where it's just like, we're gonna make boom, 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 sequel. I'm not mad if they do that with Last of Us, if they make a Last of Us 3 right after Last of Us 2, if that's the next game they jump right into. But I would love a new IP, to see what else they do, if they keep in this whole cinematic, third-person shooter type thing, or if they go on to something else. Yeah, with The Last of Us 2, they showed it to us, and I was like, it's perfect. Let me show some pictures of the games I'm talking about, since that would probably be more exciting to look at. Days Gone is this one. I'll just recap it really quickly. Yeah, so it's kind of like, the whole thing is motorcycles. People said if this image would load, that'd be great. We're still waiting. Cool, so that's cool. People summed it up as, if you take Sons of Anarchy, which is like the motorcycle crew show, and you mix it with Last of Us, which is like the survival zombie but not quite zombie video game, and you mix those two, and that's Days Gone. And I was like, yeah, it seems pretty accurate. It just looks really cool. I mean people have criticized it and saying that it looks kind of like done before, like it's not anything new. It's just like, oh, it's just another survival zombie game, you know what I mean? It's just another one of those things where you go from place to place. You probably like capture camps, you shoot, you maybe a little bit of crafting, maybe a bunch of zombies, but that's fine for me, because honestly, this is one of the first zombie games that I've actually had interest in. I'm not really a zombie game guy, I don't really care about Left 4 Dead or Dead Rising or Dead Island, or probably the closest thing to a zombie game that I've enjoyed was zombie mode in like Modern Warfare and Black Ops and stuff like that. But yeah, zombie games never been my thing, but this actually looks really, really cool. These are fast zombies too. Well, no, there's actually a bunch of different types, which you can kind of see in the trailer. Some are slow and some run fast. And then some are like in between and stuff. That's another big thing about environments. Environments can change, which is really, really cool. I like that when that's in games. There's also like decisions you can make, and apparently it has a really good story too. So, next I talked about Ghost of Tsushima. This is the kind of thing right here. You have a horse, which is cool, a crossbow. I think you have a sword too. Yeah, this was kind of the like title card, and it said like Ghost of Tsushima over or whatever. Um, again, I love this aesthetic. We haven't really. I mean, I can remember in recent years we haven't really seen a really cool like samurai ninja. Well, samurai actually, I should say samurai. It's not really ninja, it's samurai. We haven't really seen a really dope, current gen samurai game, and for some reason that was on the brain because this and then another samurai game that I think was shown at Microsoft's press conference was both announced, and it's like, wow, like it's weird that we haven't really seen one this generation, and then when we do see one, we see two the same year getting announced. So I thought that was really interesting. It looks really cool. There's really nothing more to say about it. Death Stranding. Yeah, see him. Norman Reedus got the baby. Don't really know what it is. I mean, we see that's a fucking awesome picture. Guillermo del Toro, we see him. Another girl, don't know who that is, don't know who this is, but they're actors. Kojima, yeah. The baby, title card. It's such a big title card. It's great. We have this. It's just one of those games that I really don't really know what it is. It looks like kind of like an escort mission game. This weird monster, that thing, shadow things. We got this guy who's, gold face, cool. Don't know what this game is. Don't know what it is. Excited for it. Not excited for it. Intrigued by it, I should say. That's a better word, because I don't know if I'm going to buy it. I have to see gameplay. Like, I'm one of those guys that I love story in games. I don't need it. I'm not those guys that it has to have a story. I'm like, no, it can just be a fun game. That's all it has to be. I mean, I play Mario Party. Mario Party doesn't really have a story. It's just fun. But for me, in this game, the story, it's cool. I mean, the whole idea, the whole world, it looks cool. But I'm gonna have to see some gameplay, because I know what Kojima does. He's famous for Metal Gear. Metal Gear is famous for having a lot of story. I mean, there's like one or two of the games that's like, it has like a 1 hour cutscene or some bullshit. It's just like, damn. But yeah, this game is the game I'm most excited for. I'll probably pre-order this game. I don't really pre-order games because I don't like buying games before I know what they are. But I trust Naughty Dog. I've loved every Uncharted. I loved The Last of Us. I doubt that I'm gonna buy this game and regret buying it. So I will probably pre-order it. But yeah, I mean, it looks good. I mean, that's Last of Us 1. It looks very, very brutal, which is great because they've actually amped up the brutality of the game. Which is great because, I mean, this game also got like criticized for being too violent, and it's just like, really, like that's what we're putting our energy on to act out against. It just looks so good. And if you don't know what Last of Us is, you don't know what the original Last of Us is. It's basically just a game that has zombies. They're not called zombies though, because they're not quite zombies. They're called clickers. And that's because they have been infected by the cordyceps type thing, and it's basically like a parasite that finds a host, and so they're basically zombies, but they're not zombies. They react to sound. So I mean, there are like infected things that are like super early on in the process that react to like sight. Like if they see you, they'll take you. But then once it hits that certain stage of like the cordyceps and then on, they react to sound. So like those ones, you can actually like be face to face with one and it won't attack you. As long as you're like crouching and you're like walking very slowly. It's really cool. Crafting is a big part of the game. The whole first game was kind of like an escort mission type thing, which I know I said I didn't like about Death Stranding, but this actually has gameplay. It has crafting, it has shooting, it has stealth elements, it has, it has some puzzle elements, and the story's really, really good. Like if you haven't played Last of Us, I'm probably gonna play Last of Us some point in this channel. I don't know when, probably sometime near the release date of Last of Us, because I do think Last of Us is coming out next year. I do think at some point, I mean, honestly, it'll probably be next year when PlayStation has its own thing that's not E3. They'll probably announce it and they'll probably show us a little bit more and be like, yo, November 17th or whatever it is. I mean, games usually release on what? Fridays? Do games usually? It's either Fridays or Tuesdays, right? Games usually release. I don't remember. Fridays, right? Games usually release on Fridays. But yeah, it probably come out next year, so I'll probably play sometime towards the middle or end of next year. But yeah, super excited. The next thing, speed up a little bit, and kind of took a long time on that part of it. Real quick, the also reason why this is even bigger is because Sony skipped PSX, which is its own conference. They decided not to have PSX. That started more controversy, more theories of it's gotta be because they're hard working at something big, and they're like, what's the biggest thing Sony could be working on right now? Or PlayStation, because it's not the Sony event, it's the PlayStation event. What is the biggest thing PlayStation could be working on right now? Obviously a new console. So yes. And then the last thing is there's been a lot of people who work on Sony games, obviously, and are big and probably have some inside information, because obviously if you are close to and you make big games for Sony or Microsoft or whatever, then they're obviously going to tell you what new hardware, because they want you to be if the PS5 is coming out 2020, there's game developers that need to know that so that they can start working on the new hardware, so that you can have games on your new hardware and people are ready for it, and not just like, hey, so PS5 is releasing this year, good luck. And they're just like, what? Like, we're already in the middle of making this game, for your console. So now we need to start from scratch, pretty much. So the theories are 2020. I'm not mad at that. 2020 is fine, I guess. It is 7 years. So that is what pretty much every generation for the past few have been 7-year runs. I don't know what Xbox is doing. It seems like Xbox is gearing up for what they wanted to do with the One, and for it to be like purely online, like not gonna have a disc tray. It's gonna be all online, all streaming, which is definitely what I think what the new wave is gonna be, especially the way they've been heading with their like amped up online streaming services. And apparently PlayStation Now, which is their own like backwards compatibility streaming service, is apparently doing really well. So wouldn't be surprised if they do that as well. It would also help. I was reading this article the other day, like probably a couple weeks ago, how like streaming would really help developers, because they wouldn't have to worry about fitting everything on one disc. There's no discs, so you can make the game as big as you want. People may be upset about the download time, but the game could be so much better because we don't have to worry about fitting all of this on what is it, like 40 gigs or whatever that a Blu-ray disc holds. So I mean, they're just saying that'd be even better for the consumer. So let me know what you think about all this. Let me know what you think, why you think Sony is skipping E3, what games you're excited for Sony to be releasing in the next couple years. Are you more excited for Days Gone, Death Stranding, Last of Us 2, or Ghost of Tsushima? And also let me know what you think about a discless generation, where we finally get away from it. We're all streaming, we're all cloud, no discs, you buy everything online. Let me know what you think about that too. I'll definitely try to cover more of this, the whole Sony thing. Definitely once more rumors come out about what the next generation, like the actual hardware, is going to look like, because soon there's going to be some bullshit concept art or whatever, you know what I mean? So definitely to see what people think the next one's going to look like. Last topic is Walking Dead. So this is where some people will probably turn off. They don't follow Walking Dead. That's cool. If that's true, you're going to turn off. Awesome. I get it. Just so you know, the last the next week's episode of False Opinions will be the last one we're covering of Walking Dead, because that will be the mid-season finale. So after that, we're gonna start a new show, start following a new show, probably follow some anime too, as well. So if you don't like anime, don't worry, I'm gonna be covering, a regular, quote unquote show. And if you like anime, well, there you go. Double dip. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so let me know what show you want me to follow. I'm gonna try to pick a show I haven't seen before, because I like the whole me not knowing, instead of me picking The Office and me being like, oh, I know everything that's gonna happen. You know what I mean? I mean, not being surprised by anything. Although at some point I would like to cover The Office in one way or the other. Not as a part of our show following, and not as a part of our anime following, obviously, because Netflix is an anime, but as like a separate thing. But I'll have to figure that out, because I'm a huge fan of The Office. What else? Yeah, so let me know if you have any show ideas, for this or for anime, if that's your thing. Love to hear that too. And yeah, next week, I don't know what I'm going to be talking about. I don't even know what's on my list. No one look. This is my list. Yeah, I don't really have anything planned. I don't really think I even have any backup topics. I think I just ran out of topics on this week. So yeah, I mean, if you have any if you have any topics, send them in, you know what I'm saying? I would love to hear what you guys want me to talk about, you know what I'm saying? But no, I mean, in all honesty, I'll have topics. I mean, I have a whole bunch of time to come up with topics, so but yeah. So if you're walking off now, hope you have a good rest of your day, rest of your weekend, and I'll see you for next episode, hopefully. So yeah. Now, for Walking Dead fans, it has been an hour of recording. I know this is what you've been waiting for. I too enjoy The Walking Dead. So yeah, let us skim through The Walking Dead episode. Therefore, if you have seen it, you can be reminded of yourself, since it has come out about 5 days ago. And if you haven't watched it, here's your little recap of it. So yeah. So yeah, we're just gonna skip through this a little bit. Okay. So yeah, we see Carol with Daryl. She's like, oh man, she like found his camp or whatever. Well, she found him in his camp, and he's just kind of chilling with his dog. He has a new dog. The name of the dog is Dog. So that's Daryl. We left with Michonne, and Sadiq and DJ, I think is his name. They're all escorting the new group of people to the Hilltop, because Michonne doesn't want them at Alexandria, but she thinks they might be able to fit in at Hilltop. What else? The crew is kind of mad that Michonne won't give them their weapons back or their knives back or whatever. Well, they're not really that mad. I mean, I would say that Magna is the one that's actually kind of peeved off, kind of pissed off about it. Let's see, what else? Yeah, just more stories, trying to connect, trying to, get to know them a little better. Then we cut to Hilltop, where we see it seems to be doing very well. Prospering, it seems to be. We see Tara walking around. Right at this point, I guess Tara's in charge now. She seems to be talking to everyone. She has a clipboard. She's running. She's making sure everything's good. And then it cuts to Jesus, and we actually see that Jesus is the one in charge. And Tara is kind of his right hand lady, And we also see that he's got letters from Maggie. So we see, that's where Maggie is. She's not here, and that really fucked me up, because I was like, where's Maggie? She's apparently with Georgie. Well, she took Herschel, so that's good. She's with Georgie. I don't know who Georgie is. Let me Google that real quick. Who the hell is Georgie? Was it a guy I've seen and I just completely forgot his name? Georgie, Walking Dead. Who the fuck is Georgie? Oh, so we don't know. We're not supposed to know. Okay, because we were previously, in previous episodes, Maggie was getting letters from Georgie. And so in this episode, we see Maggie and Herschel are with Georgie. And Jesus says that they're at a new community. And I'm like, what? What do you mean a new community? What does that even mean? They're at another community and like we're not talking to them, we're not seeing them, we're not trying to see what they're up to and maybe be friends, like, and why did Maggie just leave? You know, and there's obviously theories that, like, you know, my theory is, you know, common with a lot of other people, that it's probably Rick. She probably feels responsible for Rick dying, and so she doesn't want to be here anymore, and she went to a new community, a fresh start, fresh faces, all that stuff, which I think is bullshit, because, you know, Maggie isn't, you know, completely innocent, you know, the same way that I don't think Daryl is completely innocent, but I don't think anyone should blame either of them for it, because, like, you know, I mean, Rick also made, you know, quite a few decisions in that episode or two that led to his demise, you know. Yeah, we see that, so that's the sitch on that. Jesus has apparently been leaving, you know, more than Tara wants. Tara's like, hey, you're the leader, you know, you should be here more. And he's just like, I got it, don't worry, everything's fine, you know. Yeah, Carol's talking to Daryl. Carol wants Daryl to come back to Hilltop with Henry, because she is kind of worried about Henry. And Daryl says, nah, I don't really want to go, I'm good. It cuts to, oh yeah, they finally made it back to their camp, just to see if their story, you know, Michonne wanted to see if their story checked out about, like, their camp and where they're from, what they're doing, because, you know, they could be lying to Michonne to, you know, get the better of her. It turns out they were right, or like, not they were right, they told the truth. Their camp is fucked up though. Another much bigger herd must have come by and messed up all their stuff. Sadiq has a nice anecdote about him learning the recorder and his mom getting sick of it, and then Michonne is like, yeah, don't play it because I'll probably get sick of it too. Right here we see that Michonne reveals that she is not going to Hilltop with them, and they're like, what do you mean? And, you know, like, Howard, so, you know, and they're confused because they're like, so you haven't been to this place in forever, and now, you know, you're like our escort, and now you're not going with us. Like, how are we supposed to be sure that this is a good place, this is a safe place, if you won't even go there, you know? And Magna's also pissed off that she won't give them their weapons, and she's like, so we're supposed to go to a place that we don't know is safe, you're apparently not going there, so now that raises another flag, and we're not allowed to go with our weapons. So yeah, and Michonne just kind of claps back with, you can take your weapons, but then we're not taking you to Hilltop, because I'm not sending in a group of 5 armed people into a place with my friends, you know. And then they eventually come together and they're like, fine, even though we can't take our weapons and we might not, you know, trust it fully, we should just go because this is our best bet. And this cuts to a quick little scene where someone tackles Jesus, and for a split second we are freaked out because Jesus is in danger, and we find out Aaron tackled him, and it's just like a little playful thing. Apparently Jesus has been training Aaron to fight, and has also been meeting with him because Jesus is at Hilltop, Aaron is at Alexandria, you know, so they've also been meeting to kind of keep in contact with each other, because, you know, all of the places pretty much are not really keeping up with each other. They've kind of drifted apart in the past 6 years, everything like that. Neither of them are really supposed to be here. You know, Jesus, you know, kind of mentions the fair again, which is apparently something where they want everyone to come together and be cool. And Aaron just kind of laughs like, yeah, right. Michonne isn't about it, and she still isn't about it, because she's, very paranoid, her the whole security thing. They then see a flare come up in the distance, and here's Rosita. If you remember last episode, Rosita and Eugene were attacked by walkers. Rosita and Eugene must have got separated. I think Rosita actually says that she left Eugene in a barn, because again, Eugene like twisted his ankle or whatever, so she figured that he couldn't make it. So again, she didn't say this, but in my mind, her plan was probably like, all right, Eugene is gonna die if he keeps running on that foot. So I'll leave him here in this barn, safe from the walkers. I will leave, get help, come back. Didn't quite work out though. She got attacked. She says, I left him in a barn. They want to go back. They think about going back, and then they're like, no, it's gonna be dark soon, and to them it was probably like, sorry, but I'd much rather risk Eugene's life than risk Eugene and our life. That's the least of the two evils. Henry is very what's the word? He's just very not sure of Daryl. Henry doesn't know Daryl very well, and Carol speaks so highly of Daryl, and Henry just doesn't see it. He just, and the way Daryl is acting, I'm not surprised. And then Daryl opens up a little bit to Carol, basically saying that the reason that he's been out here away from everyone. He was originally looking for Rick, couldn't find a body, and then he says after a while it just was easier to just stay here. Which I get it. Again, he probably blames himself for what happened to Rick. Which again, I don't think it's all his fault. I think a little bit of it is, but I don't. And it seems to be, after him opening up, it seems to be in a better mood. He starts eating, because before that, Carol asked him, when was the last time you ate? And he just kind of deflected and said that, the dog ate yesterday. And Carol was like, oh, I wasn't asking about the dog, Dale realizes that his dog is missing. It cuts to this place where Michonne hears something in here. There was this big misunderstanding where she thinks that he is holding a weapon. She tells him to drop it. He says, no, I can't, you don't understand. And then she says, drop it. And then he turns around, and again, she thinks it's a gun, so she like karate chops it. Which was a bad idea, because we see it's a violin. Previously, he's a music teacher, and we also heard that he like collects music instruments or whatever. So that's a big oof by Michonne. It cuts back to Daryl and them. Henry goes looking for him. He gets into some trouble. Daryl is like, why are you following me? Again, Henry doesn't know about Daryl, so Henry thought that he was tracking Daryl, but you then realize that Daryl was tracking you. Then we find his dog. His dog's in danger. He's trapped by, he must got tangled in the rope or whatever, the walker traps. It's very intense. It's very like, oh man, something might happen. Daryl tells Henry not to help. He doesn't want. He's like, no, you stay back. Don't move. And then Daryl kind of takes care of it all by himself, except for one last walker where Henry helps a little bit. And we then see Carol was in the bushes the whole time. She must have heard it, and she came over, and she was there as backup probably the whole time. And of course she was. Of course Carol was there. Why wouldn't she be? And Daryl and Henry don't see her there. Cuts back to Jesus, where he kind of admits seeing Aaron and what he's been doing, how he's been training them, how he's been doing that to keep in contact with Alexandria. Tara gets a little mad because, she's like, Jesus, you are the leader of Hilltop. You have to be here for these people. And Jesus kind of says like, oh, he kind of alludes to he doesn't really want to. He's still very hopeful that Maggie is going to come back. And Tara's just like, listen, Maggie's not here. You are the leader. You have to be here and lead. It doesn't matter if you think Maggie, it's like it doesn't matter if you think Maggie's going to come back or not. I would love her to come back. But right now, in this second, this day, she's not here, and you're the leader, so you have to lead. Right here is interesting because we see him with scars, and I immediately made the connection of maybe those are similar to Michonne's scar, because they're also in an X. I'm not saying they are connected, but it would be interesting if they are. They open up a little bit to each other. They kind of soften a little bit. They both, they both thank each other for helping out. Henry kind of gets to him a little bit, and it seems like Daryl is now willing to go to Hilltop with him. Yep. The dog is still great. I both love and hate that the dog's name is Dog. He says that Carol is like, she still misses him and she still thinks about him, cares for him, everything. I think that also helps soften him up. This guy explains why he carries instruments around with him in the apocalypse. He tells a story about how scientists believe that humans and Neanderthals bonded over music. So he's like, we need music as a part to rebuild society. That's going to be an important part. Which I think was interesting, which I don't think anything he said was, wrong, but, there's definitely more important stuff right now than art. But I don't think art is completely useless. Now they're getting ready to leave. That's get on the last leg of their journey. Up to this point, Michonne has never wanted to go back to Hilltop, presumably to not see Maggie. I'm not sure if Michonne blames Maggie for what she did. I wouldn't be surprised if she does a little bit. And I also would definitely not be surprised if Maggie blames herself for what happened. But there's probably just some awkwardness, uncomfortable, something there. So Michonne doesn't want to see Maggie, just like Maggie doesn't want to see Michonne. It's just very uncomfortable, And then Sadiq lets out that Maggie is not at Hilltop, that she took Herschel and went to another community. Michonne did not know this, apparently. And at this point, I'm questioning how many people know this. Because it seems like there's a lot of people who don't know this. And so that kind of opens up, maybe Michonne will go to Hilltop this time. Some walkers come in, and Michonne finally gives up the weapon so that they can help. We see some pretty badass weapons, like her both have slingshots, which I think is a fucking awesome weapon in the zombie apocalypse. The girl with the headband, she has a bow and arrow. Magna has throwing knives, I think, and the music teacher, I think, just has like a axe or something, some like axe hammer looking thing. And yeah, we then realize that this was the herd that took out their camp, because we see him, which was not too long ago a member of their group. We can tell by not only the face, but you can tell by the shirts, which they told a story about how like he wore that shirt every day on purpose because it irritated Magna in a kind of like playful way, so there's that. They've all gotten a little bit closer from that experience. We come back here, and Carol sees him ready to go, and she's just like, oh, okay, because like last time they spoke, Daryl was like, no, I'm not going to Hilltop, and now he's going. And so yeah, she's very happy. She's doing a very bad job at holding in her excitement and pleasure. Michonne still doesn't want to go to Hilltop. Even with this new information, she's still like, no, I am needed back at Alexandria. We then see some people coming out on horses. They say they're from Hilltop. They say they're from Alexandria. And the Hilltop people come in with information that we have Rosita. She is injured. She's doing well, but she's injured. And then we see Michonne say that, tell Hilltop that Michonne and her people are coming. And that's when we realize, Michonne is going. All it took was an injured Alexandrian at Hilltop for you to go to Hilltop. And then something weird happens where the deaf mute girl, I still don't know if she's deaf or mute or both. I don't know. She has to be deaf because she didn't hear them. Is she mute too? Anyway, the deaf girl looks into the woods and kind of like squints her eyes a little bit, kind of like focuses, and she obviously sees something. And then everyone else in her group kind of look over, and I think they kind of see something too. And then Michonne and her people are just like, hey, what do you see? And then the deaf girl is just like, oh, nothing. But like it was clearly something. So I'm not sure what that is. I'm sure there's theories about that too. And the episode is almost over. Daryl, Carol, and Henry arrive. Jesus is very happy to see them. He says that. Also, Aaron is there. I forgot about Aaron. Yeah, Aaron is very happy to see them too. He relays the information that we have Rosita. She's injured, but Eugene is missing. And, they say, oh, we could use a good tracker. So Daryl obviously goes. Jesus goes to Tara's reluctance. Tara ends up staying because she's like, one of us needs to stay here and lead. And then they leave. And then I think there's one last thing, right? Or is it just like next time on The Walking Dead? Yeah. So this whole next time thing, we see basically the big takeaway from this is there's a bunch of walkers who are milling about. That's not what walkers do. Walkers don't just chill in one spot. They don't do that. And they say we've never seen it that's happened before. Also, we hear them talking more. We cut back to Rosita at the hospital place at Hilltop, and she basically freaks out. She's like, "What's going on? Where's Eugene?" That kind of thing. And I forget who's with her, like Enid or whoever, right? Or Sadiq might actually be there, right? Hold on, let me see. Yeah, right here. Sadiq, Michonne are there, and they basically say that, oh, it's okay. Like Daryl, Jesus, and Aaron are there. They're gonna save you. They're gonna get Eugene. It's fine. Everything's gonna be okay. And Rosita is like, no, it's not gonna be okay. You don't understand. Which makes me think that next episode she's gonna tell them, no, like you don't understand. Like these are talking walkers. These are walkers that, like, are kind of sentient. And then it also cuts to Eugene. Cuts to this. This is very freak. It cuts to Eugene basically saying that like this herd was different. Like there's something different about them. Like they're not normal. And then it cuts to a bunch of different shots of they're not doing very well. The crazy shot of Aaron Kung Fu Master over here. So yeah. And that is the little tidbit we get. And next week is the last episode of this mid-season. So, let's cut to Reddit now. And let's look at some of the theories of what people are thinking. Home, phone, home. Reese's Pieces. Where? Oh, that was... Oh, okay. The Walking Dead, please. My boy. Where are we at? What am I looking at? Okay. We'll go to the discussion. This is actually the first week I've done this that I haven't looked at the discussion thread previously to recording this. So this is all going to be new stuff. Wait, why is there two? Oh. Okay. We're looking to add moderators. I don't care. Okay. It's such a Daryl thing. Yeah, word name is Dog. It is. Alexandria has a council for decisions. Hilltop voted in a president to lead. Kingdom has King Zeke as their leader. Oh, that is funny that each place kind of has their own version of government. So like Alexandria has a council. They don't have one leader. They have a council of people that make a decision. Hilltop has a democracy where they basically vote on a leader. And then Kingdom just has their king. Which though, like, to be fair with this one, which is probably the least like American way of like thinking about government, if like the kingdom as a people decided they didn't want Ezekiel anymore, he'd probably step down. I mean, he's like all about the people. Daryl has a dog. That's pretty funny. Can Michael please direct the rest of the show? Oh, they're talking about, okay, yeah, right, because he came out and said that he directed this episode, which was really cool. Yeah, this episode was a good episode. I didn't mind it, or like I didn't have anything bad to say about it. You know, I mean, it advanced plot, the story. It had some cool shots. It's definitely the lead up episode for next episode is gonna be fucking insane. I love how respectful Michonne was about killing that walker that was a part of Magnus' crew. Yeah, yeah, that was cool. How like there wasn't like a huge blood splatter or like, it wasn't ruthless. It was just like right in the back of the neck. We didn't even see the sword pop out on the other side. Yep. Well, because she knows what it's like to have people die, especially people die and then become walkers. Like that's, yeah. The drone shot was sexy at the end. That was pretty cool. I mean, the Hilltop uh, deserves drone shots. I mean, their place is looking very prosperous. Daryl looking for Rick's body for 6 years. Some of the sad shit. Yeah. For 6 years, Daryl has still been looking for his body in the river. And, like, I get it. Like, he never found a body. You know how crazy that is? For you to know where someone died and not find their body. Like, that has got to have been eating him alive for the past 6 years. That's funny. I bet Heath was just someone who was that loyal to him. Yeah, because if you're Walking Dead fans, you know that Heath was a character that he just kind of disappeared and hasn't shown up yet. It hasn't shown him. We don't know if he's dead. We don't know if he's taken by someone. We don't know if he's a walker. We don't know. But then people have come up with the theory that, oh, where's Heath? The Whisperers probably took him. Michael looks like a completely different person. Refreshment who Michael is. Jesus just wants to go back to his old life of being free to search and explore the world. He doesn't want to take Maggie's desk because he fears that being stuck behind it. That's an interesting theory. I mean, he's definitely similar to Daryl in that regard, where Daryl never quite got comfortable with Alexandria because he loved being outside. He loved tracking. He loved hunting. He liked being outside. I mean, because that's like the type of shit that he would do before the apocalypse happened. So like I couldn't see Daryl being what is it? Security or like policeman Diana gave Rick and Michonne that job. Yeah, he's always been more of a right hand man. Yeah, Jesus probably isn't comfortable being there, honestly. I mean, the only reason he is there is because Maggie promised him, before Maggie left, to lead this place, basically. I didn't watch Talking Dead. I wonder what the X thing is all about. Yeah, because that's the second time there's been X-shaped scars on a main character. Maggie stole their kidneys. She stole their kidneys for the super Glenn she's reincarnating. That's fucking crazy. That's pretty funny. Really impressed with, I don't care. That also opens up now there's a main character who has a dog companion. The dog is gonna die eventually, and it's gonna be the saddest moment ever. Daryl and Henry struggling with some walkers, and Carol just chilling in the back seeing if they need help. Yeah, that's funny. Carol doing her thing. Calling it now, Aaron and Jesus were our hookup. That is also a theory. I heard that theory a lot. Apparently, I think in the comics, Aaron and Jesus are like people who Aaron or Jesus are kind of like taking the place of in the show. Apparently all that leads to people definitely think that Aaron and Jesus are a thing. I mean, Aaron is gay, right? So that checks off. And yeah, we don't really know what Jesus's preference is. We haven't really seen him with a guy or a girl, so maybe he's gay too, or bi, or whatever term you want to use. What happened when the deaf girl saw something? Yeah, word. I want to read this thread. Someone was moving around, then hid. They were watching them. They showed a shot from the POV. Yeah, someone or something was following them. Instead of nothing, she should have said she saw a mint collection grand piano. Just to mess with the dude. Yeah, so that so there was definitely something there, right? I wonder what it is. I mean, my first thought goes to a whisperer or something related to the whispers, right? Because other than that, I don't know. Like, what else could it be? I mean, a person, but like who? I mean, is it someone we've seen before? Because I can't think of anyone we've seen before. I really need to know how the communities got so split once Rick left. Is progression similar to countries? They have alliances with someone. Yeah, that's probably what it is. I mean, places get bigger, so then they have to now focus on their own place. Like, their own place gets, like, it's so much work to keep that place that it's too much work for them to do that and keep in touch with everyone else. So, which is why Ezekiel's trying to push this fair to bring everyone together and like catch up and be like, yo, we're still together. Like, even if we don't see each other every day, we're still together. We are still one big community. Yeah, and I definitely guarantee it's got to happen, right? Like, this whole whisper thing is going to push them together. I mean, it's similar how Negan united all of them. Like, Negan was the reason that they all came together because they have a common enemy. And I think that's going to happen with the Whisperers too, where the Whisperers quantity wise are bigger than Negan. Like, and like there's something they've never seen before. Like we've seen people like Negan before. Not to that scale, but we've seen, I mean, Negan is a leader who's a leader of a group who's very persuasive, very charismatic, and like he can get people together and get them to do what they want. Whereas with the Whispers, they fucking make Walker sentient. Like that's some shit that I guarantee is gonna drive them together. The mid-season finale looks so good, right? Yeah, the mid-season finale looks good. Whoever is doing the closed caption talking, wrote Zaza Binks. Okay. Said, I agree with McDermott. Big missed opportunity to have Kuditz direct him. Funny how all this time in the zombie apocalypse and they still haven't ran into people with the same name as someone else. That is interesting. I mean, yeah. Yeah, I guess. If the dog dies, I'll stop watching the show. I remember back in the earlier seasons, there was the big campaign. If Daryl dies, we riot. You know, because there was such a big, rising cult of Daryl fans. Me being one of them. I mean, Daryl was my favorite character up until Negan came in, and now Negan is probably edging out Daryl just barely. And now for me, Judith is now number one. You know, now in order, it's probably Judith my number one, Negan my number two, and Daryl my number three. But yeah, now it's if the dog dies, we riot. It's pretty funny. Fogler high as a kite on top. Oh god, I didn't watch Talking Dead. Yeah, it was kind of the first episode that wasn't super tense and super everything. Like, it was like this episode was definitely like part one to the finale next week. That Daryl haircut fake out. Yeah, where like, I mean, Carol cut his hair, but did she really? Sadiq. Is that how you spell Sadiq? I mean, I'm sure there's multiple ways to spell Sadiq, but I thought his name was spelled Sadiq, not Siddiq. Moving on Rick's piece. Wait, trying to move in on Rick's piece. Sadiq is trying to get with Michonne. That's pretty funny. Henry trying to move on Carl's. Oh yeah, because Carl and Enid were kind of a thing. And now Henry is definitely trying to move in on Carl. No respect at all. It has been 6 years. That is true. Sophia grew up. Who were they? I mean, it's obviously a joke because Sophia was Carol's dead daughter. Oh, she was on Talking Dead. Okay. Slower paced episode with a lot of character development. Love it. I agree. It really feels like Michonne is going to snap or something. Yeah, it definitely feels like Michonne is going to snap. There's a lot of stuff piling up over the past 6 years, and there's also a lot of stuff that's coming together now. With Maggie, with the Whispers, Rosita and Eugene doing their thing. The like pressure of all the communities on her. Like, she's going to snap. Something is going to happen with her. The pressure of these new people, like another thing, like does the best dog owner. Yeah, he's pretty good. The Jesus and Tara dynamic is awesome. I agree. That drone shot on Hilltop was fantastic. I agree. Luke and Jerry have to meet. Who's Luke? I don't know who Luke is. Luke. Oh, Luke is the music teacher, right? And I know. Well, that's not exactly what I wanted. Oh yeah, it's one from the games. Yep. Okay. And I bet you this person is saying that because Luke kind of has that like funny kind of like, let's just make jokes when it's uncomfortable, or let's just make jokes when it's kind of serious to get people, kind of lift people up. Yeah, Luke and Jerry should meet. That'd be a good one. So sad for Jerry. What does the X mean? Another group attacked him 6 years ago. What did Maggie do? Yeah, where the fuck is Maggie? Where is this place? So this will probably be the last thing I talk about. So let me just see if there's anything else that I want to say. Oh, I agree. It's the slowest episode of the season, but it was still good. Where it's like, it's slow because there's not a lot of action. It's not like boom, 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 boom. But like, it's good because there's a lot of development. We're seeing people push along, and there's stuff happening. Like, other than 1, 2, 3 seasons previously, when there's a slow episode and you finish the episode and you're like, nothing happened. Nothing in the episode happened. But this is good. Like, it's good when you have a season or a half season where the slowest episode of the season is still good. Like, it's still, like, stuff still happened that we care about. Alright, I think that's it for this thread. So yeah, the last thing I want to talk about is, where's Maggie? Because, like, I get her wanting to, like, run off because, like, she blames herself for Rick, which is cool. I mean, I totally get that. But, like, where is she? Because now they're talking about how she's with Georgie. And previously, we saw her getting letters from Georgie. Never knew what that was. I never understood what that was. And now we get it. And now we get the information that Georgie is from another community that we don't know about, and she's over there helping do that. And I'm like, where is this community? Is this connected to the Whispers? Is this the Whispers community, or is it someplace else that we haven't seen yet? That's something I really want to find out. So, are we gonna get to know that next season, or this next episode? It'll probably be the second half of the season. We'll get to know that, because that next episode definitely seems like a Whispers introduction type thing. So yeah, let me know what you thought of this episode. Let me know what you think is going to happen next episode. For me, next episode is the Whispers introduction. Like I said, it is everything coming together to introduce the Whispers. Every group is going to see them. Every group will be affected by it in some way or the other. And maybe someone will die. Maybe. I mean, the Whispers are definitely going to bring everyone together, I think. Yeah, I don't really have much else other than that. All I know is the Whispers are going to be there, and it's going to be some shit. So yeah, let me know what you think's going to happen next episode. Let me know what you think about this episode. Let me know other stuff too. What do you think the X's mean? Where do you think Maggie is? Like, what community is that? What do you think of these new people? Do you think they're eventually going to turn on them? Because it could happen. You know what I mean? Do you think the fair will work out? Do you think that Michonne will finally say fuck it and we'll go to the fair? Yeah, I think that's it. So again, next time, don't know what I'm going to talk about. I don't know right now what I'm going to talk about, but I'm going to have topics, obviously. We'll obviously cover the last episode of The Walking Dead, and other stuff, probably like a couple other things. Again, even that's another thing that, I tell you about shows. Again, if there's other shows you want me to cover after this one, because again, last episode, Walking Dead, and I'll need a new show. So there's one you want to recommend me for that. Recommend me anime you want me to watch, to cover with y'all. But also, you can recommend topics too. I mean, if there's stuff you want me to talk about, I mean, I'll probably talk about it. I mean, there's very few things in the world that I refuse to talk about that I'm like, no, I have completely no interest in that, or like, there's no way I could make, I could have enough of an opinion on that to talk about it for enough time to warrant it. You know what I mean? So if you have anything like that, I'm always up for that too. Yeah, I think that's it. So yeah, I will, I hope everyone has a good rest of their weekend. And I will see you next time for episode 4 of False Opinions. Yeah, so see you next time.